back to my channel. So today I'm going to rank all of the eyeshadow palettes that I used in the month of July. I do think that there's a couple missing here because I might have made a mistake. When I filmed my eyeshadow palette declutter / collection video, I did obviously rearrange all of my palettes, and throughout the month I do try to separate all the palettes that I use through the month in its own separate pile, and I messed up that pile to do that video. So there might be one or two that are missing. I think this is everything that I've used, and I only track eyeshadow palettes that I've used at least 2 shades from the palette in that month, because otherwise I would be just ranking a whole palette by using just 1 shade, and it's kind of silly that way. So anyway, here it is. I was gonna rank it in order just from like least favorite to favorite. The last few months I've been doing a separate tier system, which Caitlin House Makeup does, which I was obviously heavily influenced by her to start this series and start this video. So if you don't know her, go check her out down below. I was gonna rank them least favorite to most favorite, but I actually have separated them into groups. I don't really know what to call these groups, but they kind of make sense to me in the piles, and so let's just get into it. The lowest tier group would be palettes that have disappointed me, and there's only one in there, which is a good thing but also sad because I don't want to have palettes that disappoint me. I did pick up the GlossGods Let's Pop palette. This is the Peach Pop. Obviously they came out with 4 or 5 of them. I think it was 4. I only got 1 of them, and I'm glad that I did. Now, I loved this shade. I did a get ready with me with this, like a first impressions. I did not use an eyeshadow primer, which I think you kind of need to for their mattes, but I went in with this shade. It's absolutely stunning. It's so vibrant, but then these two didn't really work too well on the video. I haven't gone back into the palette yet to try to see if they will work a different day with a different eyeshadow base or anything like that, but I was so disappointed in these two. The shimmers are stunning. The shimmers are what you would expect from GlossGods, but you know, considering there's only 2 shimmers in this palette, which I knew going into it, and I wanted to get this one because it's the peachy one, and for me, I just love these tones and these shades. They're like my favorite colors of all time. Maybe not so much to wear, but like on my face, but I love this color to wear. Like most of my bikinis are all this color. Like I love this color. So I wanted to pick it up. It's just something that I'm drawn to, but the palette itself, I just feel like it's really disappointing for what it is. It is obviously on the cheaper side because you only get £5. Most of their palettes I think are like 34-ish euros. This one was I think 13, and it was on sale when I got it. I'm so glad it was on sale because yeah, I don't know, I think if it hadn't been on sale and I bought it for full price, I think I would have been massively upset. But it's fine. But unfortunately, definitely the weakest palette that I used this month, and yeah, just massively disappointed in the formula of the mattes. Next grouping, like all the rest of these groups, I do like these palettes, so there's nothing bad about them. It's just some I like better than others, so they've been slotted into a different group. So the next group, I've only got 2 palettes in this one, and these are just fine. Like, I think overall my feeling is they're just fine. I don't hate them. I don't have any issues with the formula, but I also haven't found myself loving them yet. So there's that. Okay, so the first one is the What's Up Beauty Desert Monsoon. I always call it the Monsoon, but it is the Desert Monsoon. And I do like this palette, like don't get me wrong, I like this palette. I'm also going to be doing a collab video later this month using this palette and my other 2 What's Up Beauty palettes. And so, you know, I have already like gone into the look that I'm supposed to with this palette, and you know, there's nothing wrong with the formula. I think what throws me off really is this blue, this purple over, not this purple, but like this bright kind of fuchsia pink. You do have a purple as well. Like this side of the palette is just not my favorite. I'd much prefer the neutral tones and these greens over here. But yeah, these sort of 3 shades right here throws me off. And I have the same issue with the BH Cosmetics Summer in Saint-Tropez, where you have like the red, the blue, the yellow, and another color all grouped together, and it's all in one little quad, and I'm like, hold on, I don't like how this looks for my eyes. So it's more of a visual thing because using the palette, I kind of like it. I mean, I do like it, and I did a cute little look with it. So there's nothing wrong with this formula. It's beautiful. It's what you would expect from What's Up Beauty. But it's just maybe there's a color story. It's just like, I have a similar thing with this one. This is the Nude Prism from Lunar Beauty. Now I picked this up when I picked up the Moon Shroom from Lunar Beauty as well a few months ago. And I pulled this from my Shop My Stash this last month, so I have been going into it. And I've done, I think, 3 looks now with this palette, not filming, just you know, my everyday use. Because obviously this is a very wearable palette if you hadn't noticed. So yeah, if you're like a neutral lover or you don't want to have like bright colorful makeup for work, this is, you know, it's got like all the shades in it. It's not obnoxiously big, but it is very big. And you know, there are quite a lot of tones in here that I feel like are somewhat redundant. There's one line of shimmers. Now I am somebody who loves her shimmers, so maybe more shimmers would have made me happier. I don't really know with this palette, but I actually like this palette. I do, and that's why it's like all the palettes I'm going to be talking about now, I like the palettes. I don't have anything negative to say about them, other than like some color stories maybe I like better than others, and I think that's where this one's kind of falls short, because it is obviously very neutral. I think what I've learned is I like neutral with a twist, or like something a little bit interesting with the neutral, maybe have some duochromes in there or something. And these are just very like standard, beautiful shimmers. They really, really are. They're reflective, they're shimmery. I mean, they're not actually that shimmery, but they're really lovely shimmers. They're all slightly different colors as well, and you get really good depth in this palette, and obviously lighter tones too. So you can create a gorgeous look with it, but it also kind of leans on the more boring side, and I think that's why I'm ranking it here, because it's not exciting. And I knew buying it wouldn't be exciting, so I'm like, well, what did I really expect? And it's kind of delivering what I would expect from it, which is fine. But if I have to rank all the other palettes compared to this one's gotta have to slot in with the Desert Monsoon. I just feel like, you know, yeah, the color story wise are very different, and this one does have more interesting tones in it, but there's just something about these two where I just find them mediocre. Alright, next grouping are basically palettes that I really, really love. I mean, I really enjoy them. They're not in the top tier, but they're ones that I really, really enjoy. They're a pleasure to use. I've had a lot of fun using them this month. So let's get into it. There's no particular order with this. So first one here is my Project Level Up palette. This is the Equalizer Volume 2 from Sample Beauty. If you're on my channel quite a lot, you'll be familiar with what this looks like. I just rolled in my level 5. I haven't quite yet used all of these shades 4 times. It was my level 4, but I have hit 4 pans. So it's kind of on the verge of slowly getting out of that project. But I've been using it a lot this several months. And this has a lot of variety. It's really fun. But I think what I found this last month is I need to use these darker tones, and I don't really want to, especially the purples, and so that's why it's not like on the top tier. But I still love this palette. I still love these shimmers. I still think it's beautiful quality, and the mattes are great and whatever. So I don't have anything bad to say about it, and I do think there is a lot of variety, like I've said. It's just I'm getting a little tired of it, so I think that's why I can't rank it any higher. Okay, next up is another What's Up Beauty. It is the Dragon's Eye palette. So this one I've already been going into this last month, but I will be going into it again this month because, as I said, I have a collab coming up, which is going to be fun. So I need to do a makeup look with this one. I was working on this for my Pan Those eyeshadows, but I did dip into another, like a couple other shades throughout the month, so that's why I get to rank it in this video. And it ranks here. I mean, I really, really love this palette. Out of my What's Up Beauty palettes, I think this is my favorite. I have all 3 of these ones that all came in a quad. I mean, I'll just tell you, like the Geodes, I'm also ranking it here. I really enjoyed this one this last month too, and I will be using it again more this month. It's also currently in my Pan Those eyeshadows, but I've been dipping into some other shades. So it's just, they're just fun palettes, and there's just something a little bit more exciting with these versus the Desert Monsoon, even though the formula of all 3 is just on par with each other. There's nothing, you know, they're all lovely. So anyway, these are ranked here. I really, really love them. I enjoy them. I've also got my Dreamy palette from Nabla. So this one is in my Yelon Project Pan. which I will be doing an update. I think I'm supposed to do an update later this month. I think so, or maybe I'll push it to September. I'm not entirely sure if I'll do it to this month or not, but I did actually dip into this a few times this month, and I'm enjoying it. I went into Rose Gold. I also went into, was it the Vanitas? I can't remember, or maybe Sistena. I think I went into like these like warmer tones over here, because I mentioned in a previous video that that's what I wanted to do, and I did actually end up doing that this month. So I love the quality of this. I think it's really good. I don't have any other Nabla palettes, but I would definitely open to buying more if they come out with more exciting color stories. Right now I'm just trying to wait to see if I see a color story that excites me. So their palettes look really beautiful, but I don't know, they're not exciting me. But this one I really love, so I needed to rank it here. Okay, next up is a new palette of mine. I did go into 2 shades, so I am technically able to rank it, but because I haven't used it for any other looks yet, I'm ranking it here, but you know, it's kind of hard. I almost put it in the top tier. I thought, no, hang on a minute, that's not really fair because I haven't even gone into all the shades. It is the Color of Rain palette from GlossGods. I picked this up at the same time I picked up the Peach Pop palette, and I used them both in a look, and I went into this shade and this shade in that look. I just swatched quite a few of these. It looks like there's some wear, but I haven't actually worn them on my lids. This is a beautiful all shimmer palette aside from the black, and I just love their formula. I did get a couple comments in my last video of some people said that some shades in the new Neutrals palette of theirs went really dry. So that is such a shame. So I just wanted to let everyone know, like, maybe that's a possibility. It hasn't happened to me, but I don't know. I really hope it's like it's a rare occasion, because I don't want to keep talking about a brand that has issues. I haven't spotted any issues, but obviously if I do, I will let you know. But I wanted to rank it here because I think these shimmers, when I swatched them, were gorgeous, and I can't wait to dip into this. So I don't know if I'll be able to do a video with this month, but I think this would be a really good like winter palette. So I think I might do that towards like more of the wintry months. I could do maybe like some 3 looks with this palette if anyone's interested, because I did get a couple comments and they wanted to see some looks with this. So I think I definitely will do that. I just don't think I'm gonna do it this month because it is summer and these are quite wintry tones. But I'm ranking it here because I just think it's beautiful. And then just so you know, within the different groups that I'm going through, there is no order. So it's not like that one is better than the next one I'm talking about, or this one I'm going to talk about is better than that one. I just have them in a pile. I haven't actually ordered them within the pile, if that makes sense. So having said that, the next one is Natasha Denona Retro palette. This one I actually am growing to really like. This one is also in my year-long Project Pan eyeshadow project. That is such a mouthful to say. And so really with that project is what you want to do is you want to hit pan in all the shades, or use all of the shades 24 times, because we're in the year 2024, and then it rolls on to next year, so then your usage will go to 25 if you haven't hit pan. It's quite a huge project if you start late like me, so I obviously just started this year, so next year, yeah, I'll just keep going, I guess. We'll see. But anyway, this one I actually have really enjoyed. I went into it again this month. So I, if I'm not mistaken, went into the warmer tones over here because I'm really not into purples at the moment. There's a lot of mauves and purples over here, but there are these beautiful sort of blush warmer tones over here, and I am into those during the winter time. So I did go into a couple of those, and I think I went into psychedelic as well. Again, I didn't film that look or anything, but it's something that I wore I think just last week actually, and I really enjoyed it. And I don't know, every time I'm using this palette now, I'm kind of getting surprised at how beautiful it ends up, which is silly because it's such an expensive palette. Everybody raves about Natasha Denona. You would expect it to be beautiful, but I think when I got this palette, I was very much expecting, like my expectations were like here, and then when I used it, it was like my feeling was here. It wasn't bad, but it was like mediocre, and slowly I'm starting to appreciate what this palette is and what it isn't, and actually all the looks that I've done recently with it, I've really enjoyed it. So that's why I'm ranking it higher than I probably would have given a year ago, because I'm starting to actually kind of get it now. Okay, and then the last one in this group is the Serenity from Cosmic brushes. I did use this, I think last week, because I pulled it from my Shop My Stash and then I realized I hadn't been using it. So I was like, oh god, I better use this. So this is, I would say, more of a wintry tone palette. My black is starting to break, so I need to just be careful because it has actually started to crack a little bit. But what I did do is I went into these two shades. Obviously this orange, I'm like drawn to orange in the summertime. I went into the brown, and I also went into this shade over here, which is a beautiful sort of gold, like a champagne-y gold color, and pretty much didn't go into any of the other shades, but I'm able to rank it because I went into more than 2 shades, or like at least 2 shades, and I really enjoyed the look. I love the formula of Cosmic brushes, and I think this palette in particular has a gorgeous formula. So wanted to give it some love, and I did, and I still have it for my Shop My Stash a little bit this month as well. So who knows, maybe I'll be able to rank it again for the month of August. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this, and I feel like it deserves to be in this grouping. Alright, so I have 4 more palettes to go through, and they all in my top tier. I don't know what I would say about them. I have nothing bad to say about them. So I just feel like they kind of stood out to me this month versus anything else. Or every time I go into them, it's just such a joy and a pleasure, and I can't explain that feeling. So I just feel like they had to be in their own separate group. So the first one is the Urban Decay Stone Vibes. This is my Pan That palette for the month. So obviously I'm going to be ranking it quite high because I'm not going to pan a palette that I hate. I just cannot hate pan. So this is what it's looking like, but I haven't done my Pan That palette update, so a little bit of a spoiler. I actually haven't used it as much this month versus the previous months. My usage has definitely gone down because I have actually used quite a lot of other palettes this month. So there's only so many eyes that I can put makeup on, you know, during the weeks. And so yeah, it's been a little bit more of a struggle working on this month, but anytime I did go into it, and I went into it again today, although that will count for August, I just enjoy this palette so much. So this one obviously has to be like top tier. I just love it. I think it's like unique for them as well. Obviously they came out with the new Naked palette, the new Old Naked palette, and I had just got rid of my original Naked palette, I don't know, 9-10 months ago. I'm not going to be picking it up, but it did bring like a, oh, why are they doing that? Why don't they come out with something different, you know? It's just annoying. Anyway, the next one is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. Every time I go into this, I just love it. It is such a pleasure. Again, this is in my year-long Project Pan eyeshadow project, so I'm trying to go into as much as possible whenever I feel like I have the time and the space during the month to not go into my Pan That palette or my Project Level Up or my Pan those eyeshadows. There's a lot of projects going on, but I do love this palette. And let me think, which ones did I go into this month? I actually went into this one, I think, and then a couple of mattes. But yeah, I've been working on this one, which is called Supernova. I don't know, it's just, I've done a few purpley, pinky looks, even though I've said I'm not going into purples all that much. I think that's the one that I've been going into, and then it must have been Karma that I went into. So maybe these two and one other matte, maybe Utopia. But that's pretty much what I've done. Maybe Galaxy as well, actually, to be fair. But only a couple times this month, not too many times. Again, I need to do my update for this project at some point. Okay, the last two are pretty neutral palettes. So I will go into this one. This is actually a surprise to me. So this is a new palette, and I got it because I thought it would be a good travel palette. And actually I swatched it in store, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. I have to get it. It actually is from Makeup Factory. This is the Gold Selection palette. I wore this for a look last week and I got compliments in my video. I'm sorry, I did. This is so stunning and so beautiful and so boring. Like, yes, this is a boring neutral palette, but the quality of this is like beautiful, like stunning. I just cannot fault it. And it lasted on my eyes all day. It was so beautiful. It's so easy to wear. I went into the mattes because when I first like tried this, I only had gone into the shimmers, but I went into the mattes. I've actually gone into it maybe 3 times this month, and it's actually been such a pleasure. I have really enjoyed it. So I don't know, who's to say, maybe I will pick up more from Makeup Factory, I don't know, but I just think this is such a good little travel quad. It's a £9, but it feels like it should be a quad, it's so tiny. It's just been such a pleasure and a surprise, and I'm glad I swatched it in store, because had I bought it blindly, actually I wouldn't have bought it blindly. That's the thing. Like, the only reason I bought it was because I was able to swatch it, and I was like, wow, this is like Nabla quality, like for me. If you like the Nabla quality, I would definitely equate it to like very similar to that, and the mattes are just lovely. So I don't know, maybe I just got lucky with this one and their other palettes are not the same, but I really enjoyed this month and I could not rank it any lower, so I have to put it in the top category, which was a surprise to me. I thought it'd be like more mediocre, or like, oh, I like it, but it's like it's just a boring palette. But it's not a boring palette. Like, it is a boring palette, but I don't know, when I put it on my eyes and how it looked at the end, I was like, this is beautiful. So, and then last but not least is the Shadow Kiss from Alter Ego. This is also in my year-long project pan. I've been massively neglecting it, and I've gone into it a few times now this month just to get some use and wear on some of my favorite shades in here. I just love this palette. It's my favorite Alter Ego. I don't have enough love and use on these. I don't have any pans, and all the other ones I have pans. So obviously I want to get some pans. I don't know if you can notice, but I am trying to make a little bit of a dent on this mist one. It is a long road to hit pan on Alter Ego. It does take some time, and this one does not have any of the cream shadows. So the mattes take me a long time and their shimmers take me a long time. So it's going to take a while to get any dent in this one, which is fine. I also really love this sort of, it's just like a light gray. I love that shade. And then these two down here are beautiful. Like, the formula in this is stunning. It's my favorite, as I said. And oh yeah, and I went into Shroud as well the other day, and it was gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So really enjoyed this palette this last month, and I think I've had a good month of eyeshadow wear. I was ill for a little bit in July as well, so you know, I kind of definitely missed out. So there's quite a lot here that I was still able to use, which is a little surprising. But anyway, that is my eyeshadow ranking for the month of July. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!